Gomez. Excuse me, Dr. Cynthia Villa-Gomez.
Present.
Mr. Robert Dura.
Present.
Mr. William Fulton. Ms. Betty Haynes. Mr. Donald Scales. Ms. Beverly Williams requested an excused absence. Ms. Sheila Williams. Ms. Annette Wilson.
Present.
That concludes our roll call.
Thank you. Well, I'll be brief with my updates because I definitely want to have some time for those who are here, for the committee members to share their thoughts and what we discussed on Saturday. So I just want to let everyone know that we're making progress, of course, with the ongoing planning for the We Built This. I was supposed to meet with Michelle and Heather from HRC either this week or next, but I know they're planning their 75th celebration, a big celebration on Saturday, which is really a huge deal. And so I'm thinking that it'll be more like next week, but everyone here is welcome. I will definitely let you know when we will have our next planning meeting. I know that from the HRC side, they're really moving along with getting the opening day events and talks geared up. And I know that everybody here is also very excited that we'll have 2 full months. We'll have Black History Month and then we'll have March. So there are going to be all kinds of opportunities to organize events for oral history sessions and community discussions and collecting hopefully photos and all sorts of things where we can really anchor the materials that we're gathering for our archive around builders and buildings and Black spaces here. So we're really excited. The interns are working very hard. They're now really learning about Black architects and architecture across the country and in North Carolina, and they're each getting ready to select a specific architect or building here in town. And so they're excited about that. And so I'll keep you posted on that. But we have just been invited by Dr. Russell Smith, my department colleague, but also the academic faculty advisor and founder of the city's Spatial Justice Studio. So I met with him a week ago, and he has invited AAHI to be one of the main partners to sponsor something called Mapping Prejudice in Forsyth County. He will also be inviting Muse. Actually, I'll be attending a meeting at Muse tomorrow on our behalf, so I'll be able to keep you updated. Also, I think Dr. Smith met with the city's urban planning unit, and I believe they're going to support this project. I should send out an email with the link to the project from Minneapolis that's sort of the model for this. And it relates to illegal covenant agreements that were related to redlining. I'm sure Councilperson Scipio and Ms. Wanda know a lot more about that than me, but Dr. Smith's idea is that this would allow us to build on that redlining, the undesign the red line, and really move forward. And we have an in-house expert on this as well. So Ms. Sheila Williams worked extensively in speaking with people when she worked for the city. And so she has wonderful stories to tell in this regard. So once we have a quorum, then we can decide if we want to officially sponsor this. If we do not officially sponsor it, every member here will still be able to get on board. We can still then organize sort of our subcommittees around maybe oral history collections. So after we after the We Built This, after we get past that, I think this would be a great new project to help us anchor what we're doing here. So I will send out the link to the Minnesota project so you can see what's been accomplished and how it's been used as a model for other cities. Maybe Durham as a city or a group in Durham has done something similar. So it's very interesting. Um, Also, I just wanted to remind everybody this is sort of related back to the We Built This, but also this potential mapping prejudice. I will be teaching that oral history class, so many students will be taking that class in the spring. Everyone here is invited to come whenever you want. Because the students will be doing service learning. And so if you give your oral history, we can record it and then put it into our digital NC archive. So that'll be a way, because everybody here has some great stories. And so we can come together as a group and share our stories around the Black buildings and builders, but also around this idea of sort of spatial injustice here in town related to our African American neighborhoods. Also, I just was in the right place at the right time last week twice. So we had Mama C from the original Black Panther Party. There were numerous events. I didn't send it out to you all because we only got the flyer and the schedule the very last minute last week, but she did come to WSSU, and so I happened to see my beloved former colleague, Dr. Pamela Frazier, who is happily retired, but still very invested in our community. She's an expert on African American history in our city and in our state. And so she goes to sit-er-cise several times a week and does that exercise with many of our elder mothers in their 80s and even 90s. And she says that they talk all the time about all sorts of local Black memories and experiences. And she had been thinking she really wanted to start having their histories recorded. So we were just so happy to see each other once again. And so I'm going to move forward with that. And when there's something very structured, I'll let you know so that as many of us as possible can go and meet our mothers. And also we will, either through our city staff or Mr. Tom Flynn and I will make sure that we begin to record those histories. And of course, we'll take the forms and everything. So that is going to be a wonderful opportunity. And then lastly, of course, Miss Annette Wilson was with me because she's part of our Historic Markers Committee. And we went to the Boston Thurman marker opening. And Miss Wilson, was that in May or June? It was sometime early in the summer, and it was a wonderful event. And there I met a colleague, Miss Patitza Mickle, excuse me. And at that point, she had expressed in the summer that she would love to have us support what they're doing. And so I saw her again, I think last Thursday or Friday, and she expressed again that she has numerous elders from that community who are really raring to go in terms of sharing their histories. So I'm going to work with her. She has some WSSU students who hopefully she will have take my oral history class so we can kind of overlap. But as all of us are really eager to get these oral history meetings together and meet people who might want to share photos and documents and just really start connecting with our elders, especially as Councilperson Scipio has reminded us, each one of them is so precious and has so many precious memories. And, and we lose at least one person a week. And so we really need to make it a priority to use every connection and every opportunity to reach out and have people trust us so that they are feeling comfortable to share their stories. So that's my report for now. So thank you, everyone.
Dr. Villa Gomez.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
you could put this one down. We have in the East Ward, I have about three senior groups that meet monthly. One of them is the Skyland Senior Citizens, and they are the oldest senior African American senior group. They just celebrated like 70 some years as an organization. They meet at Rupert Bell. And I did say to them that the African American Heritage Initiative is a place that they love to have on their program at one of their monthly meetings, and you can come in and interview them. It's a bunch of seniors. Couple of them are in their early 90s. And then I'm saying early 90s because they're like 92. And really still going. And then there's a club at the Minnie Harris Recreation Center, which is on 14th Street. And then the one at the Sim Center over in Happy Hill. So another project would be if we have interns with the cameras, to go out, connect with them at their normal meetings, and they would actually have their meeting around giving their stories and sharing and talking. So I want to make sure you have that on your list of opportunities that could they're there, they're anxious, folks have great memories. You just have to get them started, and all of a sudden it just flows.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. And I know that we were supposed to meet, and then, I was very sick over the summer and almost lost my husband. So I haven't forgotten. I miss seeing you. Maybe the two of us can meet and maybe be joined by a few others, but we could be very strategic and, following your lead, because you know everyone in these groups. This is really exciting. And as I told the people, our committee folks who met on Saturday, with the service learning coming up in the spring, the students, if they want to get a good grade, they have to come out and do that work. And so we could definitely work some of this in, and it could be that some students would come out. It wouldn't necessarily need to be, that the committee members could go. We could send the students. And we want to connect our young people with our elders, and I know they would love to see one another. So these are wonderful opportunities. Yeah. So thank you so much.
I have a new elder that I'm sort of caring for, who just had his 96th birthday yesterday. Wow. The day before yesterday. And his mind is still so fluid with great memories, and he came to Winston in 1960. He knows more than most people would need to know behind the scenes in lifestyle and living. So, and what people do. We don't want to get all those stories, but he's got some rich memories. And I don't know if you actually have any students. I was going to bring him down to our studio here and interview him, but I think he'd be more comfortable staying in his home. And I just wondered if you have any students that might be available to interview, because I want to say sooner is better than later. And I just don't know if we have someone. If not, I might have to just borrow the camera. Miss Wanda, maybe you can give me the camera with a staff person, and we could go to his house and just interview him. I just don't want to miss his memories. There's so many people that we've missed their memories because we didn't get to them in time. And they're just not mobile in and out. So it's really good if we could sort of try to reach them before it gets too late.
And I would be, definitely willing to say, go with Mr. Dura or Miss Williams or Miss Wilson. We could be there just as support. one of us could be there, even if a student couldn't be there. I think we would love to sit and hear maybe some of the things we wouldn't record, but it would be fun to hear everything.
I don't know if some of it you can handle. You're not old enough. You got to be a certain age before you can hear some of those stories.
So, I mean, with everyone here, there's so much energy and eagerness, and so I think as long as one of us can be there if you need support, and I'm sure I would be delighted to go. And evenings typically work well for many of us. So we'll figure it out, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Well, Ms. Wanda, are you ready for the director's updates?
Sure, Chair Villa-Gomez. Hard to follow that, but I just wanted to reiterate what you and Councilmember Scipio just said about the fact that, we do have equipment available. And so if any committee member wants to accompany Councilmember Scipio, or as she said, if it's a staff member or whomever, an intern, and not just for the person that she was speaking about, but also for the groups that she referenced as well. Please know that the audio equipment, the visual, the cameras, all of that, we have that available right in the office. And so it would just simply be a matter of reaching out to Erica and letting her know that you want or need to use the equipment, when, where, if you are requesting someone from staff, or whether you're going to have an intern or somebody else from the committee, that type of thing. Because we have a form where you could just check it out. You would check out exactly what it is that you're taking. And I don't know if we have a projected duration or not on the form, but we definitely have a checkout date and a check-in date. It's as simple as that. And then you just take it and do what you need to do. So that was the main thing I really wanted to emphasize. And I also wanted to mention that it could possibly be that the Human Relations Commission may want to partner with the AAHI on a project that they may have coming up. I'm saying all these mights and mays because they need to talk about a little bit more before I go into any detail. But I just wanted to give you all that heads up because I think it would really be a great partnership between our two of our boards. And so just wanted to put that out there that could be forthcoming. And so the partnerships with other boards like the Historic Resources Commission, the other HRC, and our Human Relations Commission, those types of partnerships are also good because, of course, with the HRC, the Human Relations Commission, they also tie in with fair housing. We were talking about the Undesigned, the Red Line exhibit, and how Dr. Smith's new project kind of ties back in with that. Of course, that ties in with fair housing discrimination, which is the crux of what the Human Relations Commission is built on. And so I just think I would really greatly encourage collaborations whenever possible, because those types of outreach programs and opportunities could also beget some oral histories or some artifacts and other things, pictures, things that we could upload and scan and share on our website. And we don't have anybody from marketing or IS on the call today, I don't think. But, they've said in the past that, of course, if we need their assistance or support, then we would have that as well. So those really, Chair Villa-Gomez, they comprise all of the city staff updates that I had. And unless Erica or Ronnie have anything to add, I think that's the only other city staff up here. And of course, we have Ms. Stowe. Hi, Sabrina. Unless I'm missing something, if one of them want to chime in, that's all I have.
I do have one additional thing to announce, is that on Saturday, November the 18th, St. Benedict the Moor historic marker will be unveiled in front of that church. As you know, that is the African American Catholic church that's been around for many, many years. And it used to have a school there. and their historic marker will be unveiled on Saturday morning, November the 18th. So if you could put that on your calendar, that's also another time when those unveilings happen, there's always so much rich history that the people who were involved in establishing that marker gives really rich histories. And it's a wonderful way to connect with people. Regrettably, I will be out of town that Saturday. So I hope some of you will go and make your presence known and get some connections there.
Thank you for that. I regret I will be in San Antonio for an academic conference, but it's really too bad because I teach all about early Black saints. That's one of my areas. And so St. Benedict the Moor is so important. And I feel badly that I won't be there, but how exciting that we're going to have that new historic marker. And that's wonderful news. Thank you for that. Well, and how great that we have another potential collaboration with the Human Relations Commission. I'm sure we're all eager to hear more about that as more information comes out. We have some time now, so I believe that some of our committee members would like to sort of brainstorm and maybe share some of the things we discussed on Saturday. So Mr. Dara, Ms. Williams, Ms. Wilson, any thoughts that you want to bring to the table for discussion or just to share with everyone who's on this Zoom call?
Madam Chair, I too will not be available on the 18th because I have a church conflict, but I would encourage if there are other members of the board, and I don't know whether we all got invitations. I know I got an invitation to the unveiling because I serve on that as our representative to that committee. But that I would hope that somebody would be able to go to represent us. And the other thing one thing that we did talk about when we had a chance to meet was going ahead and maybe start planning something again to reintroduce us or a point of revitalization, maybe in conjunction with Black History Month. But I think that we've got what Councilwoman Scipio mentioned. I'll be willing to go with her or go with someone to the rec centers and do some of those oral histories, because I think that would be a good beginning. And so we could start there, maybe have some of those ready, maybe by February or whatever. So I'm willing to do that. I would like somebody who's done oral history to go first, just so I make sure I'm going about it the right way. But I will volunteer to do that because I think that would be a good, maybe we could start with those, recognizing them as part of our celebration in February. And then I also wanted to put on record that I think we have a local group recently had their national conference here, which it was the Holidays Bridge Club. And they they founded that organization here in Winston-Salem. And now I think there are about 20 chapters, which too, that's a unique part of our history. And they just were here in the end of August, but they have one surviving original charter member. There were 4 of them that started that, and one of them is still living.
Who's that on that?
Oh Lord, you would ask me her name. Miss Williams just died, and the other one living is, oh my goodness. Wait a minute, I can find it. I'll come back to me and I'll give you a name. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up.
That's a interesting group because people don't think about Black women playing bridge.
Right, and they still
were
play.
Very that group was really good at it, and also into it religiously.
I worked with them on their program, and that's the only reason I knew about it, but I didn't realize the chapter started here.
I didn't. Okay, that's wonderful history to document.
Hold on, what is her name? Okay. One lady just passed, Marion Williams, and the other one that's still living
Yeah, I knew Miss
is
Marion.
cannot believe that I can't. I'll find it in a minute. Go ahead to the next person. I'll come back because I do have it.
Well, I'm going to ask a question. I know one thing that we discussed Saturday was about a round table. Again, whatever we can do to try to get our nation put out there, to be more active. I mean, I'm willing to participate in it, just for things. The 18th, I think I'm getting over my head. Just today, I'm in another committee called Giving Back Committee, and I just promised to be somewhere at a breakfast that morning. I don't know what time. The marketing is, but oops, I just blacked off. Okay. Don't want to say I can make it, and I'm not able to get away from that in time. But the round table that we talked about Saturday, I just thought maybe we could, give a little more information. We kind of threw that out there. And for the other members and staff to kind of hear about our thoughts on that. We just kind of, got that started.
I'm sorry, you were kind of in and out, but we did talk about maybe trying to have some type of program interview where we bring people in and interview them. But I think since we've got these organizations that Councilmember Scipio stated that are already in progress, we would start there versus us bringing somebody in. Go ahead and go to them because they're already there, and that would be an easy way for us to have an established time and date, because we know if we go ahead and contact them now, maybe we could go to their, if not their December meeting, maybe to their January meeting and have that in place. Because to me, that just gives us an easier pathway to go down than trying to organize it from the beginning for ourselves.
Yeah, I think that that's a pragmatic approach, and then maybe once the folks feel comfortable with us and we've heard some oral histories, then maybe we can then invite people from the different groups and get them together in a kind of community roundtable. And because that could be very interesting too, to have people from different groups talking to one another. So, but I think that is pragmatic to start and go where they are, because that's the most convenient for our elders. So we have plans, y'all. Mr. Durrott, you had some wonderful ideas as well. Is there anything you'd like to share with the whole group here today?
There is. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So one of the things that came up at our get together was talking about how to ensure that we have a quorum at our meetings. And my sort of take on it was, well, what are the things that we're doing that would allow us to generate some interest on the parts of members for being in the meetings and bringing something to the meetings that moves our agenda forward. And so I'm still interested in that, and curious about how other members of the group see themselves participating, and like, what are the things that are important to you guys about being here that has you be here, so that we could create a way to generate interest on the part of members and have them like fulfilling on what it is they want to see inside of understanding the history of the African American community in Winston-Salem and how that evolved over time. And I thought that was a fruitful conversation for us to have with just the four of us. And I'm open to, whatever the committee wants to, to say about that or think about that or, do about that. Maybe there's some other ways to get people to show up. I'm all ears. Everybody's nodding. I've been sending you direct messages, Councilwoman Scipio. Uh-huh. Now they're in bold letters.
You should know I'm not all this savvy. I don't know why you do that to me, but anyway.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll see what you're saying during the chat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I see. Hello. Thank you.
My first grade teacher is still alive.
Oh, Miss Oliver.
No.
No, I'm sorry. I was looking at Annette Wilson. She said the name was Miss Ruth Oliver.
Oh, okay.
Right, of the other charter member of the holidays.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is she related to the dentist, Dr. Oliver?
Yeah, it's his wife.
Just his. Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Dora, I don't know that.
You have to go up.
Miss Wilson, do you have that invitation about the
November 18th?
The November 18th, the time?
It's at 10 o'clock. I can go upstairs and get it, but I remember it's at 10.
Okay. I didn't
because I have that conflict. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it and text me.
Okay.
And you could take a picture of the invitation and just send it to me through a text message. You got my phone number, right? Yeah, you have my phone number. Are
you talking to me or to?
Oh, to the other end there? No,
yeah, I'm just trying.
Because when I talk to the other end there, it doesn't really work.
Oh, okay. So I will send you a picture of the invitation. Okay.
That would be easy for me to pull up whenever I get where I'm going. So that would be great.
All right.
And Miss Annette, do you have an electronic version of it? Because if you forward it to me or Erica via email, we could send it to the entire committee if you want.
No, I just received an invitation in the mail.
Okay.
So no, I don't have it electronically. I can always scan it and send it to you though, if that will help.
Okay.
Ms. Wanda, I'll get, Michelle McCullough would have that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you would ask her to send it to you, then you could send it out to the committee members.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, because I got a paper copy, but I know they have an electronic. I don't know if we got it. I might have one. I'll look through this too.
Okay, thank you.
I just happen to think that my first grade teacher at St. Benedict was there for the first 5 years of St. Benedict. She might be interested in knowing that that there's going to be the installation of the marker. And she drove to North Carolina and then on to Florida during the hurricane a couple summers ago. So she's not afraid of getting on the road and heading out. So I'm gonna get in touch with her and see if I can't provide that information. There's only one other teacher that I know that's still living. She was my 5th grade teacher at St. Benedict. So I'm a St. Benedict fan. Thank you. That's all I have.
Well, Mr. Dura, I think we talked we spoke on Saturday in our little fellowship group about you possibly doing something for the We Built This about the church space and the church school itself.
Right.
So that's an exciting thing. And of course, I'll help you with that in whatever way that I can. But I think what there was a consensus among the four of us that members of the committee would like to meet in various capacities, maybe having a monthly Saturday or Sunday lunch meeting, and then even meeting once or more on Zoom. Again, abiding by the rule that we wouldn't have a quorum, but I'm willing to facilitate any of those kinds of meetings. And even for each individual committee member for their subcommittees, you know, I would be happy to try to, I don't have to be in the meeting, but I can sort of open up Zoom if you want to run a Zoom meeting and invite people to join your subcommittee. So I'm really happy to just support all of you in that way. But I think we feel really energized by being together, and that fellowship was great, but there was a lot of just very creative ideas and motivation that came out of our Saturday lunch. So so thank you for I think it was Miss Sheila who was the one, yes, she was the one that suggested the meeting, because she actually came in and Zoomed with me on the Friday of homecoming because I didn't have my class, but she came in and we brainstormed. Well, she brainstormed and I listened, and so that was one of her suggestions, and it turned out quite well. And Mr. Dura was able to join us as well, so we were so happy he was with us. So I think that also the consensus is that instead of doing the minute stories, that maybe we would, after all the reports, that we could continue to use this whatever time we have left for these kind of brainstorming sessions for everyone involved, because I think that's what people would like, rather than giving the 1 or 2 minute history stories. So, well,
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I was sitting here and it dawned on me that I love the concept of having some kind of forum, but more of an education thing for the community. Maybe we could host, AAHI could host some type of gathering that informs why it's important to document African American history from either the North Carolina Historic Cultural Resources Department, the one that has that's sponsoring the Civil Rights Trail, an expert from there, or someone from the Smithsonian could come in. And we could have some type of gathering where people are brought together to learn and hear about the importance. And as a result of that, there could be breakout sections that people could then say, I want to work with collecting this or about that, or maybe it's, I want to work on making sure the history of my elementary school is documented, or my high school, or my neighborhood, and maybe we could mobilize the community that way to help document and upload pictures, because they're inspired by someone who's a professional in the field.
I think that's a great idea, because I think most of us don't realize that what we have to say really is important. Because I know that's kind of, I feel like, well, we didn't do anything that special, you know. So I think that would be great. And I have a question. So when groups like the holidays have their meeting here, would things like a copy of their program, like they had a souvenir journal and had the history in it, and that's the only reason why I knew. Would those are the kinds of things that we need to encourage people to, okay.
That between the history, the programs, and they may have done it in the past, and any pictures of them playing, people that came and played.
Well, their cover is amazing, because the cover of their journal featured their original members, which
Members.
included Clara Gaines and
Oh, yeah.
Mrs. Oliver, Miss Williams. So even just the cover of their
Yes.
program was so unique.
Yeah.
So I will reach out to the person that who I was involved with to see if they would get one. Their president is Renita Linville.
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
currently
Well,
okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Because our current history is the history of the future. What we're doing
Right.
now is the history of the future. So we
Well,
really
like I said, I did not know
do
that
that too.
they, as a group, they were the
Yeah.
first Black group, and now that, as I said, they have chapters throughout
All
the
over.
country. Mhm.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a story in itself. To me, it was for me at least.
Sure.
Mhm.
And there's a reason why that happened, because we weren't allowed to just go and participate in entertainment that was open to other people. We had,
Right.
we did our own, and we did it in such a nice way. So
Yeah.
that's what we really need to collect. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. But that's and sister, let me just tell this person, I'll call him back. Chairman Villa Gomez, I have an office. I may have told you that Mr. Rudolph Boone's had donated all of his memorabilia, and it's boxes and boxes. And I don't have the staff that would be able to go through and scan it to upload it into our database. But if you need any of your interns to be occupied, that is one project. We have it right now in a small conference room. It's so much. And the pages are huge. He has huge scrapbooks. But some of it is really fascinating about the bands, that the people who played in the bands, his social groups that he was in. It's a really rich, real rich collection.
And he was a bridge instructor himself, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
He was one of because I know when I took bridge lessons, I think it was he and Miss Ruth Washington that were.
Oh, Miss Ruth Washington.
Mm-hmm. They were certified as instructors, if I'm not mistaken.
So we need, and see, by the time we talk about her, then her daughter, Cynthia, could tell us more about her father and her mother. See, people don't think that stuff matters, but that's really about our culture, a part of our culture that all people didn't participate, but it's a real part of our culture.
Yeah, fascinating. Well, I was supposed to help you over the summer with that collection, and then I got sick, and my brother got married, my husband got sick, but I think that's like a whole book worth of information, very important.
It's huge. And we have it. I don't know what we're going to do with the actual physical collection once we've documented how much of it we put in the database.
Where did he study music?
I don't remember. It's probably in there. I just don't remember.
I think if he went to TC, it might merit having a whole archive for him at
I know Tom would take it, but I really don't think he was Winston-Salem State. That's not resonating, but I'll go look in there. Maybe I can find out.
He likely trained all the people that went to TC and helped make our band as good as it was. Well, it still is. Great. We're #1 right now. So, Councilperson Scipio, is Reverend Doctor, is it Freddie or Teddy from the Smithsonian who you brought, you and Cheryl Harry brought that Christmas just before COVID? He came. He's wonderful. I don't know, is he still at the Smithsonian? I know he's from Winston-Salem originally and does come back.
I didn't know that.
Sometimes.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Cheryl Harry.
Because I know he was working on his PhD. And he was also, I think, a Baptist pastor, but his parents and maybe even his grandparents are graduates of Winston-Salem State. And So
Yes, he is definitely, he's a Parkland graduate.
oh, so you know him, Miss Simon? You
When
know?
I first started at Parkland, I went to the Smithsonian, and one of the counselors put me in touch with him. And so I got to meet him when I went up there. He kind of gave me a little personal tour. He's a outstanding young man.
Yes, he is, and I know I think he was he was an archivist for the African American Heritage Smithsonian Museum. I think for the religion section, but then I think they moved him up into an even higher sort of curator and archivist position, but I unfortunately lost touch. So he is still there then. Oh, thank you, Ms. Wilson. So Mr. Boone was an A&T graduate. Very interesting.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Well, thank you, Councilperson Scipio. I think that would be a wonderful kind of roundtable to do breakout sessions and have different people. I think, is it Angela Thorpe, who is the director of the state's African American Heritage Commission and the Civil Rights program, the Civil Rights Marker program. So we could reach out to her, and we might have some local people like Dr. Donna Benson. That could be great. And if the Reverend Doctor could come back, or even maybe have a few Zoom sessions if he's still in New York and can't come back, that could be quite good. Because I know he's been very committed to the preservation of our local history. And he's worked with Cheryl Harry, I think, pretty consistently in promoting Black heritage locally. So, and he's such a wonderful teacher. If you remember Councilperson Scipio, he just had everybody in awe that one December Friday when he came to speak. Just a very interesting and kind and dynamic educator. So, well, we are actually almost 10 minutes into the 3:00 hour. Thank you so much. Is there anything anyone else would like to add or bring up for a discussion before we close out our meeting today? All right. Well, I will be in touch, Councilperson Scipio, and everyone. I will also send out the link to the Minnesota Mapping Prejudice so you can start thinking about it. But this was such a wonderful meeting. Thank you so much, everyone. Take good care. Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.